agenda work session. We are attempting to set the agenda for the October 29th, 2015 regular council meeting. Janet, if we could have the roll call, please.
Mayor Lambert,
Here?
Vice Mayor Gray,
Here.
Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Manning,
Here.
Councilmember Sewell,
Here.
Interim City Manager Williams,
Here.
City Attorney North.
Here.
It looks like under old business, item A would be second reading of something we're going to look at tonight. And that will be ordinance 996 in regard to an off-premise billboard at 6800 Ringgold Road. I'm sure there will be plenty of discussion about that tonight on a regular agenda as we deal with this on first reading. So unless someone just has a question they just have to ask right now, we can cover all that. Okay. Item B will be ordinance number 997 on second and final reading. This will be revision to development standards on open air markets. I think Kenny is going to talk a little bit about this.
Mayor and Council, back some time ago, we were going through several different ordinances. Several different. Do it work now? Okay. All right, back some time ago, we were working through several ordinances that needed to be cleaned up. They seemed to be vague. This being one of them, it was lacking definition for open air market. It was lacking some substantiation on type of construction and how to build it, and that's basically what this ordinance entails. It's more of a housekeeping item.
Can I ask a question about it?
Yes, sir.
Are there anybody going to be grandfathered in, like in front of the flea market down there that's already sitting out there, that the trailer selling?
Well, this ordinance it didn't change the old ordinance, so it will actually, yes, it will catch anything else that will come.
So they will be grandfathered in.
No, the current tense, that's part of something that the city attorney and I have been working on the last few weeks anyway, that falls back under the old ordinance also. It's just combining the two, basically.
In other words, what you're saying, they won't do grandfather. Okay. Thank you.
Again, this is in front of us for the first reading tonight. You have a question? All right, thank you, sir. Under new business, item A, an unnumbered ordinance for rezoning of property in the 5300 block of Roosevelt Road from RT1 residential townhouse to RZ10 lot line residential. This will be before us for first reading. The Planning Commission heard this on 5th, the 5th of October, and it was approved to be brought to council. We'll go into all the details. Certainly, there will be time to read on it, and then more discussion in 2 weeks. Essentially, the owner of the property right now could build, I think, 29 townhome units on that piece of property. What he's asking, he would rather not do townhomes, he would rather do single-family residential. And it would be 20 or 21, I think, single-family homes rather than 29 townhomes. So that will be it. Oh, yes, sir. I didn't see it, I'm sorry. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. 20, we go to 29 townhomes to 20 single family.
Okay. And of course, Roosevelt Road comes out onto McBrien, fairly close to Ringgold Road. The Planning Commission had, there's obviously questions asked, and one of the more significant questions was traffic. That obviously 29 residences on that road will likely create greater traffic than 20 single-family homes. So, anyway, the planning commission, again, approved that to be brought to council. We will hear that on first reading next time, 2 weeks from now.
Wasn't that approved for townhomes, but to a different owner, the one zoned in town?
Well, the zoning, there was a different owner at the time, the zoning was changed, but it is currently zoned for townhomes. So even though the owner has changed, it's still under that zoning. Okay, item B.
I'm sorry, so go ahead, yes, sir. Oh. I got it. You said it changed on.
The ownership has changed since it was rezoned, but the zoning stays with the property.
Then I have to come back up and get another permit to do all this.
They could build, I mean,
If you own
really and truly, they could just go ahead and start building townhomes. Now, obviously, they would have to go through the process of pulling permits and all the rest, but there's nothing stopping them from building townhomes now.
it, that's what I was thinking about.
Right.
Now,
Uh-huh. Anything else on that? Okay, item B, a number ordinance that would involve a budget amendment.
This is on there to, in case, well, whatever the decisions y'all make tonight in regards to Capital Parkway, we'll need to be prepared to do a budget amendment.
Gotcha. There are no questions. We'll move to item C, discussion of amending contract with the Chattanooga Football Club. Mr. Barton. Thank you, sir.
I met with Matt Yelton, of course, with the Christmas Nights of Lights already starting to be set up out there. And the fact that due to this year, since the roads have been shut down, and we had to change the direction of what the Christmas light show was last year. So what we've asked them to do is not be able to practice in the park, the Chattanooga Football Club, for both November and December. Then moving forward on any negotiations, on any future contracts with them, as long as we had Christmas Nights of Lights, then we would not include November and December, which works for both of us, in lieu of the fact that they wouldn't pay us their payment for November and December. And Mr. North drew up everything. I approved it. I sent it to Mr. Yelton to have Skelton sign it. Jack Skelton sent back and told Matt that we need to do an amendment, not in the same contract, but an amendment to the sign. I talked with Mr. North. Mr. North and I agree that both of them say the same things. Mr. North would like to keep it within one document. As he said to me, there's, we've got too many situations of documents being too many different places around here. And what I would like to do is just get them to sign the contract and we're going on with it. If not, then they'll just have to pay us for November and December, and they're going to be dealing with a whole lot of folks down there trying to practice soccer. And this was a better deal for both of us, but Mr. Skelton feels like that the contract has to be his way. So we're waiting. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're ready to go just as soon as they agree to sign the contract, which is exactly what Matt and I discussed. And Matt, I do have sent him the email saying, yes, I agree to that, and it was sent to Mr. North. So whenever that happens, I need your permission to go forward with it.
Any questions, Al? Okay, we will move to item D, discussion of no parking signs in the 3800 block of Altamira.
Mayor, Council, the situation on the parking on the street and roadway there has become an issue, both for our school bus traffic as well as emergency vehicles. We've got vehicles parking on the road, they're in the 3800 mark of Alpha Myers and curve. It does show a positive area which, of concern for that, as well as accidents not being able to see around the curve because vehicles are obscuring the view. So we'll bring in the council up and parking signs up in that area.
This kind of been brought to my attention by the sign thing. So they didn't know why we just didn't have no parking on any of these streets, side streets. None of them are really big enough. On my street, there's 5 cars. I've got one house that's got 3 parking. In front of our house, lane across 3 cars, and you can't get through. You have to lock the door to get out.
I have the same complaint up on the avenue.
You know, if they've got a driveway, then they park in the driveway.
And it may be an issue where we need to look at it and make sure that every house does have driveways before we try to do it.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, if they don't have, if they have a driveway, they need to use
If
the
they've got a
driveway.
driveway,
And I know why they're doing it is probably the wife goes to work early than the husband. He parks on the street, she parks, and they don't have to get out in the car.
One on the avenue is overabundance of vehicles.
They're getting more of
It's
that.
like we're taking panel trucks and repairing other panel trucks and letting them sit here and park on the road.
You park on the street on my road, you're taking your life in your hands.
On Sunnydale Lane, not Circle, on Sunnydale Lane, we have the same problem. These people have a driveway, but they park out in the road. The people live next door to them, can't see the cars coming. They have to go out and wish for life. And then we don't care if you check into that. You know, they never use the driveway, they park out on the side of the road. Most of the time, we've got a handicap bus coming down through them, a lot of times they can't get, she can't get through there, let the kid off in the house.
Gee whiz, now look into that, and the other, as far as, does everyone have driveways?
Is this something that the council needs to approve as far as, no parking signs? I know we have in the past, that's the reason we're going to go ahead and bring that. With this issue, I know we do have a long schedule tonight. Is there any way that we can move that up? We y'all have a problem with that? This is something I feel like it needs to be addressed as quickly as possible. Let me ask you this, sir. In the ordinance, is there notification or is there any type of notification we have to give these people prior to listing that as a no parking area?
Again, you're talking about tonight on this one, correct?
That's correct.
You know, Sunnydale Lane, they have been notified. Mayor, they've been notified a bunch of times.
Here's the problem we've got. These people that live there, or anywhere else for that matter, that have an interest in this, as we notified, that this is going to come on for the vote at a regular council meeting. So, and I mentioned this before, we ought to be very reluctant to move things, and I know that was a historical practice here. Very reluctant to move things up, because somebody may show up next week and say, I'm here on the, no parking. And whoops, I'm sorry, ma'am, or sir, we dealt with it last week. So unless there's some immediate urgency, I would suggest.
We'll go ahead and make that notification personally and give those residents that we know we're having trouble with notification. And then we'll also advise them that we are going to be looking into putting up signs that we can also grow that out.
I think that's the better practice.
I can't tell if you have this connected, before you have to check it.
All right. That is all that we have on the printed work session agenda. Mr. Mr. Manager, do you have anything?
Not at this time. Maybe later.
Thank you, sir. Mr.
Mayor,
Sewell?
yeah, Mayor, I would, think we need to, I know y'all brought this up earlier, we need to maybe start looking at qualifications we will look at for city manager. In the time frame we want to bring, you know, start looking at doing something tonight. We can't just keep tying him up. I know he's doing his job, don't mind doing it. He needs to move on down the road. So there, I'm gonna think. We'll have a meeting on that or discuss tonight what qualifications. I mean, the charter states what we have to have, if there's something else that the council wants to go with.
We could place it on the next agenda as a discussion item, the next regular council meeting agenda, and so that way we can actually take action, do whatever we need to do at that point.
Can we get a job description, Rob?
Yes, can we have the, I guess, the qualifications that we know we need to have? Can we have that forwarded to all council members so we can look at it and know what the minimum needs to be?
And Dan, obviously, make sure that's under the restated charter.
No, we're also advertising right now for the city treasurer position. And I think it would be prudent for us to hire, to hit a city manager first and let the city manager be involved in the hiring process. I know that because of time expedience and everything that we've got going on right now in the city, that really we need a city treasurer as soon as possible. But I just feel like the city manager should be involved in the hiring process of the city treasurer. That those two individuals are going to work, extremely close together. So I think it's important that the city manager feel comfortable with the city treasurer. That's just my opinion.
I think they have some pretty good candidates right now, ready for one of the local.
For the expediency of hiring a city treasurer, I like to recommend we go to an outside source to do the interviewing of one, so that, say we hire somebody like our audit company, hire Jason to come in, let him do the interview, because we know what we need, what our downfalls are.
Florence, really though, taking in the hiring aspect of the way from the city manager to do that? Or are you talking about somebody making a recommendation to the city manager? Now, here's
Well, we're in a dire need right now of city treasurer.
absolutely.
And y'all know it's gonna take 4, 5, 6 months to probably hire a city manager. I think we need a city treasurer before that 4, 5, 6 months. I mean, that's my thought.
So we got a city manager right now filling in. And I thought Mike would know about what we need. We've been around all these years, I can claim to you that I know he is. Plus, from everything now with him on it, Diane, I guess everybody else, we got. I think my creative in there.
When is the closing period for the city treasurer position that we already have? 23rd. We come back here on the 29th.
I wouldn't have, guys, free person like Jason, she's gonna get, I think our staff needs to be on it too.
Yeah, but we need Jason is the guy, Jeff got it, because he's the one that turns in our audits and tells us our downfalls. He find out just whoever it is already knows the downfalls.
It'd be good if maybe somebody, maybe six hours, already turned in, it's kind of on, we'll read it too. So it's just,
this, if everyone's okay with it. The advertising period closes the 23rd. If we could simply, once that period closes, not sure there would be really any absolute need to contact them between the 23rd and 29th when we meet again. If we could come back and figure out exactly what we want to do on the 29th. And that would give everyone the opportunity to think about this, what direction we want to go in, and also, again, that would give Mike the opportunity to figure out, to know what to say to the people who have submitted an application for the city treasurer position. So, and that would be my preferred course, I think. Let's take a little time, 2 weeks, to think about it and come back. I was going to say something else, but I'll wait until it's my turn. Do you have anything else? Okay. Mr. Cagle,
I got a couple of things here that I wasn't going to say for next, but I'll just wait quick. Now, Spurlock family, I'd like everybody to have them in their prayers. Miss Spurlock was a student mom here for 24 years. And there was Martha Lee this week that died. She had barber business down there for 45 years. And then the other night I was eating at the End Zone. New owners, Lisa and Man Price. Man Price had a heart attack. He was sitting there talking to me. He come in to thank him for police, first responders, the ambulance service, and so he just asked me to thank them publicly. Said they've done a real good job, and the way they closed his house took care of his family. So it's good job.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Mr. Gravett.
I have nothing. Except for treating that going to that executive session.
Okay.
For some questions that I had the city attorney Chickens.
Okay. Okay. We can do that. The only thing I have, just 2 things. One, Saturday, rescheduled river rescue cleanup Saturday morning. Got rained out 2 weeks ago, along with everything else. But it will be this Saturday, the 17th. Please make plans to participate in that, 9 a.m. to noon. I'm assuming it's the same locations that we had planned before. And then the other thing, I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version. Considering the talk of the city treasurer, considering the Board of Regents is so complex, that legislation, we would like for us to think about having a separate position. And I think we've maybe mentioned it here before, because it would be one of those reimbursable expenses that we could turn back in and potentially be reimbursed for, because it's spending technically directed toward the Board of Regents. Have someone who really does that as their primary function, keeps up with all of that, interacts with Mark Memitov, with IDB. That's just a ton of work. I think Chief Williams could probably attest to it. Probably Diane and our former city treasurer with that. There is just a lot of work involved in that, in terms of working with the state to get accurate numbers and retrieving every bit of information that the state asks for. So just be thinking about that. Obviously, we're going to start working on the budget in 4 months. It would be someone that has a financial background. And you'd like to think they have some knowledge back, just baseline knowledge, foundational knowledge of what the Board of Regents is, but it's kind of like asking for somebody. Exactly, it's kind of like asking somebody with experience in time travel. It's not there. And it's so new. There's just nobody who's going to be extremely well versed, other than Mark Mendenhall, who helped actually draft the bill.
They would need to have some experience in finance, and accounting. Those, I think those two areas. It's not a, it's not a degree. I would prefer a degree in one of those two areas.
But it's simply, truthfully, an expansion of our financial staff. We have need for it. We've got so many things happening, and it's not gonna slow down. The workload's not gonna decrease. So just be thinking about that as we, in a couple of months, enter into the budget workshops and all the rest. That's all I have. And
You want to have it put on the next meeting, the agenda?
we can to discuss it if we're into it.
No.
Absolutely. We can do that.
How many applications do we have for city treasurer?
6 to 8, I believe. Is that correct, Janet?
Well, that could be a starting point there, couldn't it? Could we be looking at them too for that?
Potentially.
As long as they have government experience.
So,
Maybe we could even steal one of T-Dot's accountants away.
Let's get you that, that's what we better.
all right. Well, that's all that we have.
Before you get through,
Yes, sir.
I want to count on everybody out here also know that Bill here's better, the home, Arvin, and let's say him yesterday, he said that you're doing great. And Bob is doing good. And so he'll get to go home Saturday, so right now I'm doing real good.
Good deal. Thank you for the update. Appreciate that. Certainly good news. All right, we're going to adjourn this meeting, take a brief break, come back for our regular